All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Sportsminute on the ASAP Sports Network. I am Ace, and I am joined tonight by none other than J-Mac.
What's up, people?
Joined by the Vic. And then
what up?
We are joined by our special guest tonight. He goes by the name of Mess Around, Mr. Dave Esparza. How's everyone doing tonight?
What's going on, guys? Rolling along.
All right, that's awesome.
Rolling.
So before we start, I would like everybody to know that tonight's show is going to be brought to you in part by Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. All products are lead and nickel free. All products are $5. There's actually a special offer for ASAP Sports viewers. Free matching earrings when you buy a necklace. Order now at paparazziaccessories.com, and that code is going to be 160920. And it's really important that you guys actually support her and go out there and buy some jewelry. It's great stuff. It's awesome, exciting stuff. At some point, she's going to actually be doing a live show. I don't think we have that set up for when she's going to be doing it yet, but she'll be coming on the ASAP network and actually doing a live show.
Yep.
And so, like we had in the past to wear. Oh,
I was just going to ask you, Ace.
Yeah.
What about those great T-shirts that we got?
Yes, which I was about to jump into. I was going to say, as people saw in the past where I was wearing those ASAP Sports Network shirts. Well, the good thing is if you want a shirt, you can get one. You have to let us know. And there's actually one even better news too. You can actually get a free shirt. And how can you get a free shirt? Well, all you got to do is become the viewer of the month. So how do you become the viewer of the month? Well,
how do I become the viewer of the month, Ace?
Well, J-Mac, it's so simple. All you have to do is join our page, comment, share, and like our page. Leave as many comments as you possibly can. And if you leave the most comments on our shows, guess what? You become the viewer of the month and you win a free ASAP Sports t-shirt.
Shut up.
So wait, all I got to do is get on my computer and write a little message on the show.
That's all you have to do. Leave a comment, and if you leave the most comments, you will win a free shirt.
Get out there, people. Let's get it done.
But even if you can't,
easy.
But even if you can't leave a comment, here's how you can still get a shirt. You can still get a shirt. Now, keep in mind, all you have to do is let us know if you want a shirt, and you can still go out and actually purchase a shirt. The shirts are actually going to be $25. Yep, $25. And it'll be plus shipping and handling. So just let us know. And just think, some of our analysts don't even have these shirts yet. So just think, you'll be looking cooler than some of the analysts will. How cool is that, right? You can actually be part of the ASAP team. Let us know if you want to be part of that ASAP team, because this team, this is a special team here. You guys will love it. Go ahead and order those shirts. All right. So how about we jump into that first topic of the night?
Let's do it.
So So our first topic of the night is we're going to be burning some rubber around the track. What do you think about that? We're going to be talking about some NASCAR playoffs.
If
And
you
as
ain't
we've
rubbing,
talked
you ain't
about-
racing.
Right? You got to be rubbing if you're racing. All right. So as we know, in the previous weeks,
Shake your bait.
J-Mac had Kevin Harvick. The
Too loud.
Vic had Kevin Harvick. I had Brad Keselowski as my pick.
You just like the last name. It makes you sound cool.
I love his last name. His last name is totally awesome.
Then I'll take Carol
so-
Lipinski.
So when it comes to that, the race on Sunday was actually put off until today. So they ran the race today, and our winner today was none other than Kyle Busch.
The Bushman.
Go
Are
Bush.
they related to the people that make Bush beer?
Now there
Busch
is
beer is
pros and
horrible.
cons about that. So even though Kyle Busch won today, he realizes he doesn't really have a chance at making the playoffs. There's only one guy right now that's actually in the Final Four currently, and that is Joey Logano. But when you look at the other three that actually have a chance at making it, guess who those three guys are? Number one, that bad man in Kevin Harvick. He's right there. He's got a chance at getting in that number 2 spot. Then number 3, we have that man in Denny Hamlin. And then number 4, we have that bad man, the guy that I said was going to win it all, and Brad Keselowski. That is number 4. So these other 3 guys have a chance at joining Joey Logano in the Final Four. We're really close to the end of the season here, guys. We got 2 races left. Two left.
Come on, Kevin.
And you guys are still taking Kevin Harvick. But
Yeah.
that's not a bad pick. That is not.
You can't
a
jump
bad pick.
ship like that.
I'll
That's not
change
how
my
it
pick
goes.
on the last lap of the final race. That's when I'll
Oh,
change my pick.
what? Well, no. You can't jump ship.
That's how
on
I
the
roll.
last one here.
That's how I roll.
Now, what was so entertaining about today? So it was Kyle Busch and Martin Truex. They were coming around on the last lap, and Kyle Busch was able to hold off Martin Truex on the last lap. The entertaining thing about this was Kyle Busch came out afterwards and said if he had to run one more lap, he would have ran out of gas. And Truex actually would have passed him on the last lap if they would have had one more lap. So think about how close that was. He had just enough gas to where he could do his peel out after winning the race. Other than that, he had nothing left. That's how close this race actually was.
That's close.
That is really close. So we actually, since this is Mess Around's first time on Sports Minute, so Mess Around, out of Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, and Brad Keselowski,
Logano.
which one are you
Logano.
taking? Which one are you taking?
I like Logano.
Oh,
Look at
the
him
last
picking the
one.
guy
already
in
in
first
there.
place. That's not fair.
I also like Kozlowski too because of his name. His name's kind of cool.
That's like
Right.
picking the Lakers to win the finals now. I picked the Lakers. Oh, they already won.
I would
I
never
know.
take the
That's what I did.
Lakers.
Picked them.
Well, no. I get it. Mess Around likes Keselowski because of his last name. I mean, it's a brilliant last name. But when you actually look at points, though, Kevin Harvick is actually in the lead in points. But
No.
Joey Logano is the first one who actually was able to get into the playoffs. But we all know just by it's going to be really, really close. Chase Elliott has a chance of getting in there. He has a chance at overtaking either Denny Hamlin or Keselowski, but I don't see it happening because he's behind by 43 points with one race to go before the Final Four. So I'm telling you, my Final Four right now is going to be Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, and Brad Keselowski, with Keselowski winning it all. And I'm looking forward to that championship race. So please, guys, please watch that championship race. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. So, the Vic, do you have anything else to comment on this?
Well, let me tell you a little bit about this NASCAR thing. I know NASCAR because I have watched Days of Thunder and I have watched Talladega Nights. So I know NASCAR. If
Ricky
you ain't
Bobby.
first, you're last.
Right.
And I tell you, Kozlowski, he ain't going to be first. Longaro, he ain't going to be first. So where are they going to be? Last. Hamlin is going to take it all.
I thought you wanted Harvick.
That's who I meant to say. Harvick's going to take it all.
Okay, I was like, I thought you wanted Harvick, right?
I knew it was an H. And it was
No,
Harvick.
it's all good. It's all good. Okay.
That's what I meant.
So now we're done with burning rubber around the track. So now after that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to putt the ball around on the green a little
hit
bit
the
here. Huh?
Take it all.
We're going to hit the links.
I thought you wanted Harvick.
Yep, we are hitting the links, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about this man named, we're gonna talk about this man named Tiger Woods. And the reason we're talking about Tiger Woods is because, as we know,
Turn that down.
right?
I was trying to set up a watch party.
So as
just
we
kept
know,
talking.
Tiger Woods is the defending Masters champion, and that's actually coming up here in just a few weeks. So with Tiger Woods, we have seen he has struggled this year so far. He went from being the 13th ranked golfer in the world to the 29th ranked golfer in the world. He actually pulled out of the tournament this weekend. And as we saw this year, he actually hasn't really participated in a lot of tournaments. And in 2020, he has really struggled. So my question for you guys is, do you think Tiger Woods is struggling because of the lack of tournaments he's played in this year? And do you think he'll get back on track before the Masters come? Because he obviously wants to defend his title. So I'll go ahead and I'll start with J-Mac on this one.
Of course you will. All right. Well, will Tiger get back on track? I don't think Tiger's ever out of anything. I think that Tiger is always going to be in a tournament, no matter what tournament he's in. Do I think he's on top of his game right now? Obviously, no. I think that there's other guys that can out-golf him, outplay him on the course. But let's face it. I mean, Tiger might have lost some on the drive, and he might not be able to putt the way he could. But there's one thing Tiger's done his entire golf career that no one else can match, and that's that mid-range game. Tiger has been able to hit the green from anywhere with an iron, and it's pretty impressive, actually. And I think that that's actually his best game as far as I'm concerned, anyway.
So I want to give a shout out to Nicholas Raday, who's actually watching our show today. And Nicholas Raday says he believes that it is time for Tiger Woods to actually call it a career and actually retire. And he is saying that Tiger Woods is actually toast.
Amen.
So what? But I don't know why people are thinking that. Yeah, he's having a rough year. He is. But every athlete out there is entitled to have a rough year. Even if you're Tiger Woods, you're going to have a rough year in golf, and this year happens to be that rough year. Can he get back on track? Yes, he can, but I think a big reason why he has struggled this year is because of the lack of tournaments he has played in. You can't just play in one and then skip three and then go back out and play in another one and expect to be in form just like everybody else is. That honestly, you have to continuously play. You have to play in all the tournaments to be able to keep going. So with this one, I will go down to mess around, and you go ahead and give me your input on what you think. Can Tiger Woods get back to his form?
No, he can't. And the reason I say that is because he hasn't been in form since he won the Masters last year. The only time he's relevant is when he wins something. I agree with what Nicholas Raday said. He should retire, hang it up, and he's just not the same guy. And before, back to your point about not playing in a lot of tournaments and whatnot, he did that back when he in his heyday, back in his prime. He would play a lot of tournaments, and he was still winning. So I don't think that has a lot to do with it. I think he's just done.
He has lost a little bit, but you still can't. He's still one of the greatest golfers of all time.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying he's not the same guy. He's just not there anymore. He doesn't have it. He's just hanging up.
Oh, you got that. You're disappointing me here. You're disappointing me. Tiger Woods hang it up. No, nobody wants to see Tiger hang it up yet. It's not time yet. All right, I will go to, it looks like the Vic is even saying that. So I'll get the Vic's thought on this too. What do you think?
It's like watching your hero quarterback play one season too long. You just hang him up while you were in the head. It'd be like watching Peyton Manning play another year after he won the Super Bowl with Denver. It would have been ugly. He knew it was time. And Tiger needs to know it's time. And I don't like him because he's a Cardinal and I didn't hate anything from Stanford, number one. And I don't know, he's he's old, but not old like Jack Nicklaus old. But,
So
Nicklaus, I don't know.
So you feel like he can't get back into form?
No.
He's going to come out. Now, what's going to be funny is he's going to come out and he's going to prove you guys wrong in the Masters. He's going to come out and win the Masters again. And then I'm going to come back on here and I'm going to tell you guys disrespected the man in Tiger Woods. And I cannot wait to come back on here and tell you guys disrespected this man and you told him it was time to hang it up. And it's not time to hang it up yet. He's still Tiger Woods. He still has it. Tiger Woods hasn't gone anywhere. He's just having a down year. That's it.
I hope he does win because when he wins, it's good for golf.
It is. Because Tiger
Absolutely.
Woods is probably the biggest name out there. So it is great for golf when Tiger Woods wins. Nobody wants him to struggle.
How is golf even a sport?
It is.
Anyone? How?
Have you ever tried it?
Yeah.
It's
I wrecked the
difficult.
cart.
It's difficult.
I wrecked
It's
the cart.
difficult.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean,
Although, hey, you know what? I saw something once. I got to share it with you guys. There was a thing about. What do you think about this? What do you think about? It's called it's extreme golf. I got to pull up these rules. I would probably watch this if they brought up extreme golf, and I think a lot more people would watch it. Know what I'm saying?
extreme golf.
Yeah, it's extreme golf. I gotta find these rules, but it was crazy. I was like, this would be something that would bring in ratings, and we could actually have it here on the network. We could be the first ones to debut extreme golf.
is there Jello and boxing gloves involved?
Jello and boxing gloves? That's actually not
Because
bad.
if that's in, I'm in. I'm watching it. It's just too boring for me. I mean,
Here we go.
watching.
So-
I love baseball, but it's hard enough. But yeah,
So it's called the EGA, the Extreme Golfers Association. It's already got a great name, right? So the rules are no dress code. Alcohol is permitted and encouraged during play. Fans allowed to make noise at all times. Out of bounds shots result in a loss of one club. Double bogeys or worse result in golfer having to shotgun a beer after the hole.
this sounds like Billy Madison.
And
No, Happy
and
Gilmore.
and John Daly is the commissioner.
I was going to say that sounds right up John Daly's alley.
Well, I was gonna say that even sounds like when us three are on the golf course.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I mean, we've already debuted this sport, so we might as well debut it for the network next time.
Right. We've already done this. We've done this before. I mean, that's why I love the game of sport or of golf. That's why I love the game of golf, because it is relaxing. It's fun. It's fun to get out there and do it. You really have to have a lot of talent in order to be able to do this at a high level. And that's why I've been so impressed with Tiger Woods and the high level that he's been able to do it for years. And that's why I don't put it past him to be able to get back in his form before the Masters start.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, right? Okay. Absolutely. So before we jump to our next topic, I would like to let everybody know again that today's show is being brought to you in part by Suzanne Paparazzi Jewelry. All products are lead and nickel free. All products are $5. We have that special offer for ASAP Sports viewers. Free matching earrings when you buy a necklace. Order now at paparazziaccessories.com 160920. And
Hey,
J-Mac, what was it again about those shirts? What do you have to do if you want a free shirt? What do you do?
So check it out, right? This is the easiest thing to get a free shirt you will ever have to do. I promise you it is easy. You log on to Facebook. Over 1 billion people in the world know how to do that, right? Am I right? Over 1 billion. Okay.
Billion.
So you hit your little Facebook icon. You go on there. There's going to be a notification that says All Sports, All Plays is live. You hit on the video. You leave us a comment. And at the end of the month, we pick a fan of the month, and you get sent a free t-shirt. How easy does that sound to all of you? Does that sound pretty easy?
Easy
seems
peasy.
pretty easy.
Absolutely. Easy. Super easy.
And don't forget, if you don't win one, you can always buy one.
How much are they?
They make a great Christmas gift. I'm glad you asked, Mess Around. I am glad you asked that question. They are $25 plus shipping and handling. That's a great deal. That's a great Christmas gift right there, don't you think? Put that in some wrap that up for somebody. Man, he looks spiffy. Let me ask you, Mess Around, do you have an ASAP t-shirt?
I do
Do
not.
you have one? Vic, do you have an ASAP t-shirt?
I do not.
Look at this. You will have one before these two that are talking to you on the network. Think about that for a minute. Sounds like a great deal to me. Next
Absolutely.
topic, please.
Yeah. So our third topic of the night, and I'll tell you, this topic I have been excited for all day long. I could not wait to get to this topic. And this is Larry Fitzgerald versus Jerry Rice. And the reason we want to talk about this topic is simple. Because when you look at Larry Fitzgerald, he's behind Jerry Rice right now on the receptions list. But when you look at who Larry Fitzgerald has had throwing to him in his career, my gosh, it is blasphemous. The two best quarterbacks that he has had in his career has been Carson Palmer and Kurt Warner. Palmer, Kurt Warner.
Let me throw out a few names. If anyone's curious, like how bad has it been for Larry Fitzgerald? How bad has it been, Vic? Do you know any of the names that have thrown him a touchdown pass? There was John Skelton. He caught passes from John Skelton. He has caught passes from anyone else want to throw a name out there?
Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen. Okay.
Josh Rosen.
Mess around.
Josh McCown.
Josh McCown, correct. He's even caught passes from Max Hall. He's caught passes. I mean, the names we're throwing out there right now.
Matt Leinart. Blaine Gabbert threw him a touchdown pass. Yep. You keep the list goes on and on and on. So I guess the question is, and I may have been the one that posed this question, but let me ask you a question, Mess Around. This is specifically for you first. I want to ask you, if Larry Fitzgerald had the two quarterbacks in Joe Montana and Steve Young, I'm not saying those guys specifically, but if he had the caliber quarterbacks of those two throwing him the ball for the majority of his career, would he be above Jerry Rice in career receptions and yards?
Yes, I believe he would. If you look at it, Rice played 303 career games. So far, Fitz has 257 and counting. If he had those two guys for his whole career, his numbers, I think, would be a lot further than what Rice had.
What do you think about that, Vic?
Oh, it's hard to compare anybody to Jerry Rice. So I mean, he was
No,
the man. But
I don't think
if Larry Fitzgerald had the quarterbacks that Jerry Rice has had, or had, yeah, he'd have the same, if not better, numbers.
Even
Ace?
Jerry Rice said that he would break his records that he has a chance to. So
Yeah,
Eight.
and I'll tell you the one prop that I give Larry Fitzgerald for is Larry Fitzgerald has never given up on the Cardinals. When Larry Fitzgerald had many opportunities to where he could be like, nope, I'm not going to resign here. I'm hitting free agency. I'm not going anywhere. Or I'm not staying. I want to leave. And he's never done that. He has spent all of his time with the Cardinals, even going into a season and looking at the depth chart and being like, ugh. I have this guy throw me a ball. He's like, oh well, it'll be all right. I'll make it work. And the dude has stuck around. You have to give so much props to Larry Fitzgerald on that. Larry Fitzgerald is one of my favorite football players of all time. He probably has some of the best hands in the NFL that I have ever seen in my life.
I'm glad you brought that up, Ace, because do you know that Larry Fitzgerald, now he's a wide receiver. We all know that, right? Right? We're all in agreement he's a wide receiver. Okay. In his career, he has 37 career tackles. Okay? Everyone with me so far? 37 career tackles. And he has dropped 26 passes. The guy has more career tackles than dropped passes in his career for a wide receiver. How crazy is that number?
it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, it's a crazy number. Now, jumping over to Jerry Rice for a second though. If you look at Jerry Rice's career, we know he's been with a Joe Montana, he's been with a Steve Young, but look at some of the other quarterbacks he's been with. Now, those two are Hall of Famers, but has Jerry Rice really been with other, what I would say, spectacular quarterbacks? Not really. And Doug Noakes is saying maybe Larry Fitzgerald should have said bye to a team that gifted him all those lousy quarterbacks. And Doug, I completely agree with you. He should have left a long time ago. He could have, but he did not. Because he is a loyal guy. And that, to me, is the problem in sports today, is you don't have enough loyal players. All they want to do is go out and chase rings. That is the problem. You want to have a loyal player that is going to stick around and be like, you know what? I'll stick with this team through the thick, through the thin. If we're bad, if we go 1-15, I don't care. I'm sticking with them because this is my team. This is who drafted me. So
Yeah.
So can anybody else tell me what other quarterbacks did Jerry Rice have in his career?
He had Rich Gannon. He had Jeff Garcia.
Were they great receiver, or were they great quarterbacks?
Gannon won an MVP.
But he wasn't anything spectacular.
Still better than anything Fitzgerald's had.
He also
Exact-
had
Besides Warner.
Huh?
Exactly.
No,
Anything better than Fitzgerald's had. By the way, I'm looking it up right now because I'm curious. So listen to some of these names.
a
Now,
Steve Bono, a Jeff
Okay.
Kemp.
Jeff Garcia.
Okay. You could say that about Jerry Rice, and I get it. He's had some bad ones. But Larry Fitzgerald, Kevin Cobb threw Larry Fitzgerald touchdowns. Okay. Matt Leinart. I think we brought that one up already.
Right?
Let's see. Let's just keep going here. Derek Anderson. Does anyone remember that? Drew Stanton.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Drew Stanton. Then there's Blaine Gabbert that we already brought up. Max Hall. I think Ace hit on that one.
Yes, Max Hall.
Max Hall. Richard Bartell.
Yes, which
Who?
Richard Bartell
Exactly.
You're going to be like, who?
Sean King, Brian St. Pierre.
Are you just making up names at this
I am.
point?
I swear to you, I'm not making up names. John Navarre.
Brian
Like,
St. Pierre has had like one career start.
He had one career start. He had 2 career touchdown passes, both of them to Larry Fitzgerald. So think about, like, we could talk about Jerry Rice having some bad quarterbacks in the end of his career, but I don't think it compares to Larry Fitzgerald. Some of those names, and I was not making them up. I can send you the list. It is insane, the lousy quarterbacks that Larry Fitzgerald has played with in his career.
But Jerry Rice had Elvis Gerbach. That alone should just...
Yeah, but no. See, thing is,
Elvis, come on.
I'm not denying how bad of quarterbacks that Larry Fitzgerald has had, because we know he's had some rough ones in his career. We know that. And we know about the Hall of Fame quarterbacks that Jerry Rice has had. But the only point I'm trying to make is when we're comparing these two is I don't want people to go out there and think that Jerry Rice has been with excellent quarterbacks his whole career, because that has not been the case.
I'm not saying that's the case, but you look that Larry Fitzgerald has 120 career touchdown catches. Okay, of those 120, he was thrown 67 of them by Kurt Warner or Carson Palmer. That's just over half. Mm-hmm. How many of Jerry Rice's touchdowns were thrown to him by either Steve Young or Joe Montana? All I'm saying is he had a longer longevity with good quarterbacks than Larry Fitzgerald did.
Okay, so the numbers for Jerry Rice when he caught passes from a Jeff Kemp and a Steve Bono and Kavanaugh and quarterbacks like that, he had 24 career games with them. 24 career games.
24. He had 23 touchdowns and 134 catches for 2,177 yards. 24 career games. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And 23, did you say 23 touchdowns? Did I hear you right?
Yes, 23 touchdowns, correct.
So with those quarterbacks that I named off, Larry Fitzgerald has 53 career touchdowns with those guys.
Trust me,
I'm just saying.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, because I do agree that if Larry Fitzgerald had quarterbacks in his career like Joe Montana or Steve Young, or even if he went to a team that had like a Peyton Manning or Drew Brees or somebody on it, yeah, Larry Fitzgerald probably would have beat Jerry Rice's records. No doubt. Or
even if he had played longer with Kurt Warner, like, could you imagine what his numbers would be if he played with Kurt Warner's entire career?
Oh yeah, his numbers would have been excellent.
Yeah,
outrageous.
So I'm saying, mess around, chime in on this, man. We're waiting to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
Well, if he played with Warner as long as Rice did with Young and Montana, even one of those guys, he definitely would have had 10 numbers would have been better. He would have put up, like you said, he had 60-something with Warner?
He had 39 career touchdown catches with Warner out of 120.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. So they played together, three years maybe? 2-3 years?
I think it was 3.
I think it was 3. Yeah.
3, yeah. So see, if you'd have played like 10 years with him like Rice did with Young and Montana, he would have definitely caught Rice.
How about you, Vic?
Well, this is the thing. Their ace. I don't know. It's all hypothetical, but my opinion is very important to me. And I say that Larry Fitzgerald would have written new records had he had a legit quarterback for even 3/4 of his career. I mean, he could have had the would-be's, for a quarter of it, but I mean, even with the horrible QBs he's had, he's the best receiver in the game right now. He just doesn't get the targets or touches he should probably.
No, which actually surprises me because he has a quarterback in Kyler Murray now. But
Yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald just doesn't put up the same numbers that he wants. And yeah, I understand, he's losing a step because he's getting up there.
He's 38 years old.
But it's still
He's
Larry,
also got DeAndre Hopkins on the other side. So, I mean,
and
Right.
a Christian Kirk and a Andy Isabella.
yeah.
But he's still Larry Fitzgerald, man. He's still Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
So my final question for you guys, and I will start out with J-Mac on this one with Larry Fitzgerald, is where do you put Larry Fitzgerald on the all-time receivers ranking? Where do you put him?
Man, that's a tough question. I got him at number 3.
And the two people that are ahead of him?
Got to go Rice. And you'd be surprised. Rice is probably not number 1 for me, which probably surprises everybody. But a guy that reinvented the wide receiver position is actually number 1 for me because he played for a lousy team. And if you wanted to go into a comparison of a greatest wide receiver of all time who played with a crappy quarterback his entire career, let's talk about Steve Largent in Seattle. Okay. So to me, Largent's number 1. Like that guy, 100 career touchdowns with the Seattle Seahawks, not when they were the Seahawks that they are now. You're talking the Seahawks when Dave Craig and Rick Mirer were their quarterbacks. Okay. That
Rick
is
Zorn.
when.
Don't forget Zorn.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
Zorn. So think of those quarterbacks that he played with, and he still got 100 career touchdowns. And he, by the way, had every receiving career touchdown or career record when he retired with those crappy quarterbacks. So to me, Largent's 1, Rice is 2, Fitzgerald's 3.
All right, so I'll go to mess around. So mess around, where would you put Larry Fitzgerald on the all-time rank?
That's hard to say because his career's not over yet. And his numbers are only going to go up. So are we talking about right now or are we talking about when he's done?
I'm talking about right now, from what
Right
he
now?
has accomplished so far.
Right now, I'd have to go Rice 1, Randy Moss 2, Fitzgerald 3.
Moss. Wow, okay. All right. How about the Vic? Where would you put Larry Fitzgerald?
You aren't going to like it.
5?
5.
You got 4 guys ahead of Fitzgerald?
I do.
That is insane.
That
What
is
4
crazy.
receivers could be
I got-
ahead of him?
No. Wait till you hear my 4. Come on. Got Rice, of course. Steve Largent. Calvin Johnson. And Marvin Harrison.
Ouch. I don't like the Marvin Harrison pick. I mean, that's your opinion, and I respect that, and you are allowed to feel that way, but I just don't feel the Marvin
I
Harrison
feel it.
pick.
I don't
I
even
feel
like
it.
the Calvin Johnson pick.
Yeah, I'm iffy on that one too.
I'm not taking anything away from Calvin Johnson because I know he was dominant when he played. But what
And
hurt
I
Calvin-
viewed it as, what if he continued to play at that level? Where would I rank him? Not where did I rank him when they stopped playing?
it's so
Calvin
hard.
Johnson
though.
was Megatron. Come on.
It was. I understand it was Megatron.
At least
I
I
get
didn't
it,
pick
but
Randy Moss.
yeah. So J-Mac has him 3. Mess Around has him 3. Vic has him 5. So you guys might actually shock you that, and there's reasons why I put Larry Fitzgerald at number 1 of all time. It might actually shock you why. The only problem that I've had with in Jerry Rice's career, and because he's came out and said it before, was that he came out and said, yes, I used Stickum when I played. He was the one that admitted to it. So that was the only reason why I put Larry Fitzgerald ahead of Jerry Rice, is because Larry Fitzgerald, that I know of so far, has not come out and said he's used it. So to me, those numbers are, I'm like, okay, how many of those passes would Jerry Rice actually caught without using the stickum? So I go Larry Fitzgerald 1 and then Jerry Rice 2. And obviously I have to go with Steve Largent 3 because of what, like J-Mac was saying, of what he's accomplished with in Seattle with virtually nobody. But that's why I put Larry Fitzgerald at number 1. Is this his last year? I don't know. It's going to be hard to say. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. He's so close to Jerry Rice. He's so close. They estimated that if Larry Fitzgerald wants to break Jerry Rice's records, he'd have to play for another 3 years.
Yeah, I don't know, but he's going to get close. We can all agree on one thing. Let's all agree on one thing before we move on to the next segment. But we can agree on one thing right now. Larry Fitzgerald is a first ballot Hall of Famer, hands down, no questions asked.
Yes.
For sure.
Absolutely.
The one thing that I was hoping for so bad is I wanted Larry Fitzgerald to win a ring before he retired. I really, really wanted him to so bad.
Well, they're legit this year. I mean, they're not a slouch. They're not going to be easy to beat.
They're not going to win a ring.
Yeah, they're not going to be easy to beat.
But they're not that. I'm just telling you, they're not going to win a ring. Not this year. They're not doing it.
I mean, I want to believe that too, but they're going to be hard to beat. So
going to our
chance.
So going
the
to
Jets are going to win it all.
So going. Oh wow!
Dude,
so
I thought that's why we kept Nate off the shows.
so going to our fourth topic of the night. Our fourth, and of course, I have to start out with mess around on this one first because this is his team. We're gonna go with the top 5 Chicago Bear quarterbacks of all time. So top five. So mess around. You start with your top 5 Chicago Bear quarterbacks of all time.
Okay, so number 5, I have Eric Kramer. 4, Jim Harbaugh. 3, Sid Luckman. 2, Jay Cutler. And number 1, Jim McMahon, because he won a Super Bowl. He can't have him anywhere else on the list because he won a Super Bowl.
Oof. J-Mac.
I'm going to eat a jelly bean instead of talking on that one.
You want to go top 5? Okay, so I agree at 5 was probably Eric Kramer. And I'm telling you, if you look back on the Chicago, first thing I'm going to say, if you look back on the Chicago history for quarterbacks, it's not a good list. There's not a lot to pick from as far as the top 5 go. So I'm going to go, I will have to say 5 is, I'll have to agree with 5 at Eric Kramer. I'm going to go 4 with Sid Luckman at 4. 3 might surprise everybody. I actually have Rex Grossman at 3. Let me explain.
Yeah.
Let me explain.
He's our quarterback.
He took them to a Super Bowl. Whether or not they won it, he took them there.
It wasn't him who took him there. It was the defense.
Doesn't matter. He's the starting quarterback in the Super Bowl. It doesn't really – I mean –
So
relevant.
in
And
that aspect, you would put Trent Dilfer up there?
Doug Flutie. Let's put Doug Flutie on the list.
I probably would put Trent Dilfer top for Tampa Bay quarterbacks because they haven't had that many great quarterbacks. So, but then 2, I would have Jim McMahon, won a Super Bowl. And actually 1 is Jay Cutler because he threw the ball to Green Bay players so many times that I have to put him at number 1.
All right. So before we go to Vic quick, I do want to say Doug Noak said Fred Volishnikov of the Raiders admitted he used to put stickum on his hands in his uniform. And that might be, but what I'm saying though is that out of all the big time receivers, Jerry Rice is the one that came out and said, yes, I used it. So that's why I put Larry Fitzgerald ahead of him.
By the way, Doug, thanks for the comment. You got yourself in the running for that T-shirt.
All right. Oh, so Nate the Great actually asked a question here, and he actually said, "Why is Kurt Warner in the Hall of Fame?"
Greatest show
Really?
on turf.
So
Really?
not only was he part of the greatest show on turf, but he also basically changed the Arizona Cardinals. Look at what he did when he got there. He took the Arizona Cardinals to their first Super Bowl. Yet they did not win, but he took them there. He was dominant too. Kurt Warner has like 3 of the top 5 passing games in Super Bowl history. He's put up
Why is
crazy
Kurt
numbers
Warner in the
Super
Hall
Bowl.
of Fame?
Is that a question? Really?
It is a question. I mean, it's a question from Nate. Kurt Warner's in the Hall of Fame, like you said. He took Arizona to their only Super Bowl. Remember what he did with the Giants? The only reason he didn't stay in the Giants is because they had a hard on for playing Eli.
Yeah, right. Yeah, or else he probably would have stayed there.
Or he would have taken them to a Super Bowl too. So I mean, you're talking about a guy that everywhere he went, he won.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, that's why
did.
he's in the Hall of Fame.
Hey, do you know he was on the Bears practice squad at one point too? Man, we missed out on that one.
Yeah,
and he backed up Favre. He backed up Favre.
He did.
He bagged groceries.
He bagged groceries.
Did, right?
So he went from the Bears practice squad. He went from there. He went and played in NFL Europe. Then he was released. Then he played for the Iowa Barnstormers in the Indoor Football League, and then got a part-time job bagging groceries. And then they brought him. And then Dick Vermeil brought him to the Rams, and look what he did there. The rest is history.
Remember, he only got to start because Trent Green got hurt.
That's right.
Yeah.
He only got to start because Trent Green got hurt.
Yeah, but he turned it into the greatest show on turf. That's pretty much what happened, and then the rest was history. So
I'm surprised they haven't made a movie about the guy yet.
So going back to the Bears' top 5 quarterbacks in history, we've got Mess Around's list, we've got J-Mac's list. So I will ask the Vic now. Go ahead and give me your list of the top 5 Chicago Bears quarterbacks of all time.
I got some of the same names, but in different order. Number 5, we have Mr. Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh. Number 4, Jim McMahon. I don't care that he won the Super Bowl. He wasn't that great of a quarterback. It was the fridge. The fridge won the Super Bowl. Number 3, Eric Kramer. Jay Cutler at 2. And Sid Luckman, of course, at number 1.
So my list might surprise you guys a little bit. I have relatively the same names on there.
You can't have anyone else.
There's
no one else to pick.
I got to go number 5 in Trubisky.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
yay.
I'm just not good of a quarterback. Yet he did take him to a Super Bowl, but he was not that good. So that's why I put him at number 5. He's their number 5 greatest one of all time. Number 4, Eric Kramer. Yes, we know that he played technically 2 full seasons. He did play for 5 years, but 2 full seasons with the Bears. The 2 full seasons he played, he had great years. He had excellent years. So who knows what he would have done had he played more. My number 3, Smoking Jay Cutler. I loved it when he was with the Bears. I absolutely loved it. I was sad to see him go. And I was like, man, he liked to throw the football to the Green Bay Packers. I love to see it every game. It was awesome. And Jay Cutler, I know how Dave feels about him now, because for years, Dave always defended him. Every single year, Mess Around would always defend this guy. And I'm like, why are you defending this guy? He's trash.
Guilty. That's my quarterback.
He defended him every single year. And finally, the year they cut him, he's like, man, I was done with that guy before. Number 2, I'm actually surprised that you guys didn't have him on your list. And I'm actually surprised with you, Dave, that you didn't have him there was George Blanda.
Yeah, I thought about putting him there.
How could you not have George Blanda on your list for what he's done?
He's just kind of bland. Yeah.
But for what he did for Chicago, George Blanda had to be there. And then my number one Chicago Bears quarterback of all time, Sid Luckman. To me, it's not even close. Not even close. It's Sid Luckman. And that is sad when you have to go back that far to find the best Bears quarterback of all time.
Is that vodka?
Sad but true.
Right? It's sad. And just so everybody knows, we're going to be doing this every week. There's 32 teams, so it'll be 32 teams for 32 weeks. We pick the 5 best quarterbacks from every franchise. We go division by division. And originally when J-Mac said, why don't we rank all the quarterbacks in their franchise, I'm like, dude, for Chicago, that's like 53 quarterbacks or some crap like that. They've had so many in their franchise.
Yeah, it's awful.
I'm like, that's so many quarterbacks.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
But I don't know. J-Mac, I don't know if you heard me when I said, how'd you guys leave George Blanda off the list?
Yeah, I heard you. I mean, I just don't think of George Blanda. Yeah, I just don't think of George Blanda as the Bears. I know he played for him, but I just don't think of him. But so I just want to read you some of these names of guys that started for this team, by the way.
Lay him on me. Hit me.
Rusty Lish.
Rusty.
There's Steve Bradley. That's a generic name. Mike Tomczak.
Cordell Stewart.
Peter Tom Willis.
Peter Tom.
You know what
Moses
He's a serial killer.
Moses Moreno.
You know what the sad part is though too is when you look up the top Chicago Bears quarterbacks of all time,
Henry Burris.
When they have Josh McCown in the top 10 of Chicago Bears quarterbacks of all time, that means you got a bad franchise worth of quarterbacks.
Bad.
Because Josh McCown was in the top 10.
I looked up the top 12, by the way, just to go one above that. I know the top 12. Do you know who was ranked 12th all time as a Chicago quarterback? Cade McNown.
Cade McNown, yep.
Cade McNown.
Right. That's
Let's not forget Todd Collins. There's so many games. Chad Hutchinson.
yeah. I mean, there was some bad. You guys had some bad quarterbacks, Dave. And
Craig Krenzel.
Is he related to Chris?
Oh man.
Jason Campbell.
Jonathan Quinn. We could go on and on and on about this all night.
Right?
You could have had Patrick Mahomes. So
Nate actually asked another question.
Oh god.
But this one was about Jay Cutler. This one was why did Denver draft Jay? Well, the obvious answer of that is because when he came out of Vanderbilt, he was supposed to be like they said he had such a great arm, which I'm not saying he didn't, but he was a gunslinger. His accuracy was supposed to be top notch. I wasn't seeing that.
You know what the problem is? He went to Chicago. If you just stayed in Denver, you might have been good. Chicago's where quarterbacks go to die.
No doubt. They even ruined him for Miami. But how sad was Miami that year? They're like, we need a quarterback. We're going to sign Jay Cutler.
But he wasn't horrible in Miami is the thing.
No, he wasn't horrible. But okay. I hear Jay Cutler's name. I think of him in Miami, by the way. I know he played for Chicago for a long time. But I think of him in Miami. And I think of that play when they played the Wildcat and he's standing out there as receiver.
Oh, yeah, not doing anything.
And the play goes, they snap the ball, and he just stands there and looks at the defender across from him and kind of puts his hands up.
He took the play off. What can I say? He took the play off.
You go out there and throw blocks and get hurt, and then you don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, it's just what I think of Jay Cutler. Just it is.
Smoking Jay Cutler.
All right, what's next?
All right,
Jay.
so our final topic of the night, and yes, I know how the Vic feels about this, but we're gonna touch on MLB, and we're gonna talk about the World Series champions, the LA Dodgers, and is this 2020 Dodgers team the best Dodgers team that we've ever seen? And I don't know if you guys know this, but there was actually an interesting stat. Back in 1951, the LA Dodgers had a team that went 104-50. And the interesting stat about that, they did not make the playoffs. As 104-50. And the reason was because back then it was different. The division winners went and nobody else went. So there was actually the team ahead of them that finished was the Cardinals, and the Cardinals had 109 wins. So can you imagine winning a season, having 104 wins and 50 losses in a season and not making the playoffs?
It's kind of like going 11-5 in the NFL and not making the playoffs. It is going to happen this year
because of the Eagles or the NFC East.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because the NFC West is so good. But anyways, going back to the Dodgers, J-Mac, is this the best Dodgers team we've ever seen?
No.
Mess around. Was this the best Dodgers team you've ever seen?
I don't think so.
The Vic, and she's saying no. And I would agree to a certain degree is what I'm saying, because when we look at this season, it's hard to know exactly how the Dodgers would have finished because we know it was a shortened season because of COVID. So we don't know how this Dodgers team would have finished. We don't know if there would have been injuries. It's hard to know. Yes, this Dodgers team is a team that finally got them over the hump for so many years of disappointment with their fans. But you have to put this team as one of the best Dodgers teams of all time. You're saying no. So, Vic, what Dodgers team are you saying was better than this? Are you saying that the 2017 Dodgers team was better?
1981.
And if I remember right, that was the year that they went. If I remember right, that
63
was
and 47.
Yeah, the 63-47, the shortened season. Nobody expected them to win it, and they came out of nowhere and won it.
Steve Garvey, Ron Say, the corners.
Yep. And, baseball's not always about the record. Like, that's the other thing. It's not always about the record because you can get guys hurt in the middle of the year. You get guys to come back. You can bring these guys up from AAA that end up, doing something good for your team. So it's not always about the record that makes your team the best of all time for your team.
Yeah, last year, Washington Nationals, they were the wild card, and they won it all. They had the worst record of any team going to the playoffs, and they won it. So I don't know. Fact check me. That's just my guess. I know they won the wild card game to get in.
No, that's not a fact.
That just means record doesn't matter. I mean,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's when you get hot and pray that you have no injuries or nobody gets hurt.
No, the only reason I brought up that record from 1951 is because how many teams do you see, especially in baseball, win 104 games and have 50 losses and not make the playoffs?
Rarely.
Yeah, right? That's rarely ever. That's why when I looked at that, I'm like, wow, really? 104 wins and you don't make the playoffs?
And let me tell you something else. This whole thing with Turner going on, it's going to be a black eye for a long time for the Dodgers.
Yeah, because he completely ignored the protocol. Yeah.
And I don't really care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone feels about it. That was a douche move.
That was selfish.
It was.
Very, very douche, selfish move.
Douche, I like that.
Which Mookie Betts came out and said, "Hey, I don't have a problem with it." He came out and celebrated. Maybe
Mookie can shut up. I don't like him.
maybe Mookie doesn't, but I'm sure
Name's your
some
kid
of his
Mookie.
teammates deep down inside probably have a problem with what he did.
Yeah, I would if I was Kershaw. Look, he had his kid out there, a baby, and you're gonna have him around a guy that's got COVID. That's not cool.
Right? So I don't really think anybody else has anything else to say on this topic. I think
Nothing positive anyway.
Yep, I think that's pretty much it. So the last thing that I was going to say is I want to thank everybody for watching. But before we leave, J-Mac, and actually this time, you know what? I'll go to the Vic on this one. So the Vic, how can somebody get that free shirt? How can they do that?
Well, it's really easy. Like Doug and Tanner, just comment on the page, like the page, share the page. Participation. We give out participation trophies, and it's a T-shirt if you put out the most and you're the all-time best fan of the month. Everybody gets a hello, but not everybody gets a trophy, and the T-shirt is a trophy.
I completely agree with that. So mess around. How simple is this? How simple? What do they have to do? How easy is it to get a shirt?
Simple. Just comment.
That's all you got to do. You just have to comment, okay? So coming back from the free shirt, mess around. What if you can't get on and comment? How can you get a shirt besides that?
You can order one for $25 plus shipping and handling.
That's it, right? That's all you got to do.
That's it.
That easy.
Or you could go to Adam's house and steal his.
That's what I'm gonna
That'd
do.
be an adventure.
I guess you could do that too. I guess we can all do that too. So, with that being said, I want to thank all of our viewers for watching. I will give J-Mac, you have your 30 seconds of fame right here to say your last remaining 30 seconds of whatever it is you want to say. So go ahead and take your 30 seconds away right now.
Let's see. So what should we talk about? We're going to talk about, we got the NFL coming up this weekend. We have, let's not forget about the MLS. We haven't talked about soccer much on the show. That's still in season. So we're going to go to the MLS Cup. We'll let you know. We'll keep you updated on that.
All right. Mess around. You have 30 seconds.
All I got to say is if my Bears played like they did Monday night against Saints, it's going to be the same show that we saw on Monday. We're going to need the Bears again.
All right. And the Vic, 30 seconds.
Pac-12 football, November 7th. Ducks are playing home in Stanford. Herbie got his first NFL win. He's lighting it up. I'm picking him early offensive rookie of the year. Go Ducks.
All right. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for watching. This was another episode of Sports Minute on the ASAP Sports Network. I hope everybody had a great time, and I hope everybody has a great night. And you can actually watch the Sports Minute again on Saturday, tomorrow. Check out Real Talk with Freddie, Chris, and Jay McLovin, and Cam. So I hope everybody has a great night and enjoy. Later.
Peace.
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so type the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.